with the 2018 midterms and the challenges Arkansas's four-incumbent congressmen face. Joining us this morning to discuss all of that is Hayden Shamel, Democratic candidate for the 4th District. Hayden, welcome to our show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And so I wanted to start first, since this is your first time on the show, kind of saying why you wanted to run in the first place against incumbent Bruce Westerman. And so during your announcement video that I was able to watch on your website, you were saying that you decided to run because you've never seen America just so divided. So what do you think are some kind of key topics that would unite America once again?
Well, I think it's important for us to come together. I think, you know, in my lifetime, I've never seen America so divided. We've got to a certain point where it's almost difficult for friends and neighbors to talk to one another, and that's just not a place where I want to be. We've got to get back as a country to being able to talk to one another and get past varying perspectives in order to get things done. And I think, you know, I, like a lot of people, I watch what happens in Washington, and I watch the lack of progress that we see happening because of the divisiveness. And I'm just ready for someone to get elected to office who will get things done and who knows how to collaborate and who knows how to compromise. We just see such a lack of that right now. And I think that the way that we get there is through electing everyday individuals to office, people who know the importance of rooting for the common man, for Arkansas families. My husband and I, we are not independently wealthy. We are both educators, and we get up every day and we go to work. We are representative of the people, and I think it's time for us to start electing individuals who will represent the people and who truly care, who care about others.
So, yeah, I think that what you and a couple other people that have decided to run have been saying is there is something to be said for these career politicians and doing something about that and changing that narrative a little bit. Would you say that they're moving forward, though, in this 2018 election, that there will be sort of one topic moving forward that will kind of unite voters?
I think there's a lot of topics that really unite us across party lines. Healthcare is one topic that all of us can relate to. You know, all of us face high costs of insurance premiums. I'm a mother. I have a 3-year-old daughter, Ella, and as you know, young children often spend time in the doctor's office. It's hard to keep them well. I have teacher's insurance, which is wonderful insurance, but even when her pediatrician prescribes her prescription medication and we go to the pharmacy, to Walgreens to pick that up, it often can be hundreds of dollars, and I've got good insurance. And so then I think, you know, what about the individual who doesn't have good insurance? What about the person who has to make the decision between the prescription medication that their kid can't do without and putting food on the table? And we've got people in our district who have to make that kind of choice, and it's time for us to hold pharmaceutical companies accountable. So healthcare is one of those issues. Another issue that I think crosses party divides is education. All of us want to see our kids have the highest quality, superior education that they can, regardless of where they're from, whether or not they live here in Little Rock or if they live in a rural area, like is representative of most of my district. That's something that's not partisan. Those are issues that we must come together and move forward on, and I just don't see enough progress being made, and we've got to do better. And we can do better.
And as a teacher yourself, you know, you've brought that up a couple times in your acceptance speech too, or your announcement. You were saying that Arkansas schools are not for sale.
Right.
If you're in Congress, how do you make sure that the people like lobbyists and other people that have the pocketbook don't do that and take kind of some of the control and the attention away from the everyday person?
Sure. What we have to ensure is that we don't have attempts to funnel money that belongs in our public school systems for our kids who go to school here in Arkansas, and that money stays in the public school systems where it belongs. We cannot put our schools up for sale. Our children deserve the best education they can. We are as good as any other state, and we deserve to give them the education that they deserve. And if we're draining our public school systems of the tax dollars that they need, then we're not able to do the best job that we can for our kids. And I won't stand for that, not for the kids that I know and love.
And yeah, speaking of taxes, I had Congressman Bruce Westerman on last week, and he was, of course, touting the GOP tax plan, and I was asking him what it meant for the 4th District, and here's a little bit of what he said.
When you look at on the individual side in the new tax code, we're doubling the standard deduction. You lose the personal exemptions, but if you've got children, your tax credit doubles. So the vast majority of constituents in the 4th District are going to benefit greatly just from what's being done on the individual side. I think everybody's going to benefit from what we've done on the business side.
Would you agree that it has that effect on the 4th District, or what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this: we need to be focused on people, not on corporations. And what it comes down to is that our people are going to see not enough money in their pocketbooks. What we need to be focused on is lifting everybody up, no matter where they are. And what we're talking about here is a matter of change. Our people need a lot more than that. You know, Arkansas is ranked 49th in the nation in terms of wages. What we need to be focused on is making certain that our people can earn a livable wage. And that's why I'm running for Congress, to lift all people up. We can no longer line the pockets of the wealthy. What we need to do is we need to focus on real people, hardworking Arkansans, like me, like my friends, like you, like our neighbors, real people. It's time for a person who cares.
And then when you look back in Arkansas history, the last female U.S. representative was Blanche Lincoln. That was in the early 90s. She went on to the Senate and then was eventually outseated by our current senator in that district, John Bozeman. And then before her, the last Arkansas female in the House was actually back in the 60s. So that's 3 decades, and here we are coming up again on that. How do you think that you being in Congress and having more female representation will kind of change what we see in the next 30 years?
I think that women are naturally empathetic and that they're naturally collaborative. I see being a female as an asset to becoming a representative in terms of being able to work together with individuals. You know, we were talking before about just the sheer divisiveness that we see going on in Washington. I think it's important for us to elect people that can see varying points of view, can see other perspectives, and who makes an attempt to meet in the middle. That's the problem that we see in Washington, is we're not seeing anything get done because people are voting straight party line. We need people who can think for themselves and who truly are going to work to make a difference. And I think women are natural collaborators. That's why I'm so thrilled to see so many women in all offices standing up and saying that they're going to run for office. It's very encouraging, and it's a wonderful thing for my daughter, who's 3, to know that there are so many women who are willing to put their voices out there and to be part of the conversation to help their neighbors.
And I'm sure she inspired your run too.
Definitely. I'll tell you a quick story. My husband was driving her to daycare, and he told me just the other day he saw a female jogger, and he said, "Look, Ella, look, she's running." And Ella looked at TC and she said, "You know," she said, "my mommy's running too. She's running for Congress." That's what it's about.
Most definitely. And then if you do get there, if you are able to, you know, outseat Westerman, how do you still, as a Democrat, though, in a Republican-controlled Congress, have those important conversations and make sure that your voice is still heard and that important dialogue is still happening?
I think it's about relationships. It's about one-on-one. It's about sitting down with people, talking to people, and meeting them in the middle, meeting them where they are. And we just don't see that right now. And it's time for a change. That's why we've got to elect people who are ready to listen and who are really ready to work and to get things done.
All right. Well, Hayden, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you
This
for
is a
having
nice
me.
meet and greet to kind of show people what you believe in. Stay with